Welcome to A Fistful of Lenses, the home of real-world lens reviews. This video is part of the legendary vintage lens series. In this episode, we'll be taking a closer look at the Canon FL 135mm f2.5 lens. The lens optical construction is 6 elements in 4 groups. It has 8 aperture blades and a 58mm filter thread. The lens weighs a substantial 645 grams. The lens came to market in 1965. What was the world like in 1965? Well, let's take a trip together down memory lane. The biggest movie of the year was The Sound of Music. In the UK, the death penalty was formally abolished, and a maximum speed limit of 70 miles per hour was imposed on British roads. 1965 was also the year when my dear grandmother left her job in the helium factory. She absolutely refused to be spoken to in that tone. Meanwhile, Canon was eagerly developing new optics to flesh out its lens lineup, and that's where this lens comes in. As always, the stills and the video will be unedited, straight out the camera, as I don't want to disguise the character, strengths, or any weaknesses of this old classic. In this review, I'll be using the APS-C Fuji X-T1 and the full-frame Sony a7R Mark III. So we should get a good overview of how this lens performs with a digital sensor. So let's turn off those TVs, put down our books, lace up our boots, and let's get out there and do some real-world photography. So as we look at a series of black and whites, let's have a bit of background about the Canon FL lens mount. Canon adopted this lens mount in 1964 and produced an extensive lineup of optics, from the super wide 19mm pancake to the super telephoto 1200mm f11 lens, and also lenses like the super fast 58mm f1.2 lens that I previously reviewed on this channel. In the 1960s, a very popular focal length was the 135mm and was often described as an ideal portrait lens and would have been found in many photographers' kit bags. This f2.5 lens would have been considered very fast and quite exotic for the time. So I'm eager to see just how good this 60-year-old telephoto lens performs on modern digital sensors. I'll also be interested to see if it's suited better to the full-frame Sony, or if we can even see any difference between the sensors. If you can tell a difference, let me know in the comments section. So what about those Canon colors? Today, Canon is considered by many as having amongst the very best color science in the business. And as I review these images, I see that Canon has a strong history in this regard. Beautiful reds, for instance, with a vibrancy to them without being garish or unnatural looking. And I particularly like the way it reproduces the hues of all the colour spectrum. A subtle, natural way, a certain lightness to them, with nice saturation, but not overly done. And what about the bokeh, or if you prefer bokeh of the lens? Well, that too has a nice pleasing look to it. The outer focus areas have a nice soft transition to them, giving a dreamy, painterly quality to your images. So what's my conclusions about this 60-year-old lens? Well, the design is a preset type. Not difficult to use, but it will take a bit of getting used to. It's also heavy compared to modern optics, and even compared to many vintage 135s. But when you nail focus, it's sharp, and f2.5 gives good subject separation. In short, it's a beautiful lens to use once you become familiar with it, and I'm looking forward to becoming more adept at using this old classic. If you've enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and ring that bell. And then who knows, you might see me out there in the real world, snapping away happily with my Canon FL 135mm f2.5 lens. Until next time, bye for now.